What if you could fly above the weather, cruise near jet altitudes, and keep passengers comfortable, all in a single-engine piston aircraft without spending millions? That's why the Piper Malibu stands apart. It doesn't fit neatly into any category. It's not a jet or a turboprop, but a pressurized, cabin-class piston aircraft that offers a taste of executive aviation on avgas. The $800,000 Malibu label refers to used models, not new M350. Newer examples cost far more. Even so, the Malibu remains one of the most affordable ways to own a pressurized high-altitude airplane, and that's what makes it special. The Malibu's defining feature. Pressurization is the entire reason the Malibu exists. Most piston singles are limited not by performance, but by human tolerance. Oxygen systems help, but they're a compromise. Masks are uncomfortable, fatigue builds quickly, and passengers often hate the experience. The Piper Malibu family changes that equation. With a pressurized cabin capable of maintaining a comfortable environment while flying as high as 25,000 feet, the Malibu operates in airspace usually reserved for turboprops and light jets. This isn't just about comfort, it's about access. Higher altitudes mean smoother air, better weather avoidance, and more efficient routing. The modern Piper M350 maintains a 5.5 psi cabin differential, allowing cabin altitudes that remain manageable even at flight-level operations. That number matters. It's what makes a long cross-country trip feel civilized instead of exhausting. In practical terms, it's the difference between arriving refreshed versus feeling like you've just finished a workout in a hypoxia chamber. This single feature alone places the Malibu in a category with very few competitors. A cabin that feels like an executive aircraft, not a piston toy. Step inside a Malibu and the philosophy becomes clear immediately. This airplane wasn't designed for weekend pattern work or $100 hamburger runs. It was built to move people comfortably over long distances. The cabin is wide by piston aircraft standards and typically configured for 6 occupants, with many examples featuring club seating in the rear. The seats are designed for hours, not minutes. The noise level, while not jet quiet, is noticeably more refined than non-pressurized piston aircraft at similar performance levels. This matters more than spec sheets suggest. Many airplanes can technically carry people. Very few make non-pilots enjoy the experience. The Malibu does. That's why it's often described as a cabin-class piston single, a term that actually feels earned here. Air conditioning, proper ventilation, and a finished interior aren't luxuries in this aircraft. They're part of the mission profile. Piper clearly expected owners to bring family members, colleagues, or clients on board. The Malibu isn't trying to impress pilots alone, it's trying to keep passengers happy. Where modern safety meets high-altitude reality, the latest evolution of the Malibu lineage, the Piper M350, is built around the Garmin G1000NX Wine avionics suite. This isn't just about large screens or digital gauges, it's about reducing workload in an aircraft that operates in a demanding environment. High-altitude piston flying comes with unique risks. Hypoxia, task saturation, and spatial disorientation become real concerns. Piper addressed these directly, not as afterthoughts, but as core design priorities. One of the most talked about features is automatic level mode, often called the blue button. Press it, and the aircraft immediately returns to wings level flight with 0 vertical speed. It's simple, almost boring, until you imagine being overwhelmed, disoriented, or momentarily incapacitated at altitude. In those moments, that button becomes invaluable. The M350 also incorporates hypoxia recognition technology. If the system detects a lack of pilot interaction consistent with hypoxia, it can initiate an automatic descent to a safer altitude. This is not experimental technology, it's certified and purpose-built for the realities of high-altitude piston operations. Electronic stability protection and underspeed protection further reinforce Piper's safety-first approach. The airplane actively resists being flown outside its safe envelope, particularly during critical phases of flight. The result is an aircraft that feels like it's constantly backing up the pilot, quietly, unobtrusively, but decisively. Performance. The Piper M350 cruises at approximately 213 knots true airspeed, depending on conditions and power settings. Earlier Malibu Mirage variants can see numbers in the same general range, sometimes slightly higher in optimal conditions. That speed may not sound impressive until you consider what's being burned to achieve it. This is a single-engine piston aircraft, not a turbine. Typical cruise fuel burn ranges from the high teens to around 20 gallons per hour, depending on altitude and configuration. Range is a another strong point. With proper planning, the M350 offers a maximum range of roughly 1,300 nautical miles, making it a legitimate cross-country machine. Flights that would feel punishing in unpressurized aircraft become realistic day trips in the Malibu. The ability to climb to flight level 250 is what ties everything together. At that altitude, the Malibu can often fly above weather systems, reduce turbulence, and maintain more consistent cruise performance. It's not about speed alone, it's about predictability and comfort. The truth behind the $800,000 price tag. The Malibu's reputation as an $800,000 pressurized luxury aircraft is rooted in the used market, not factory pricing. Older Malibu and Mirage models can sometimes be found advertised in that range, depending heavily on engine time, avionics, maintenance history, and interior condition. Used Piper M350S generally command higher prices, often starting closer to the high six figures and extending well beyond $1 million. Brand new or nearly new examples can exceed $2 million. But here's the important part. No other aircraft offers this combination of pressurization, speed, cabin comfort, and single engine efficiency at anything close to these prices. Even used turboprops typically cost significantly more to acquire and operate. Jets escalate costs even faster. So while the $800,000 figure shouldn't be taken as a universal price, the underlying claim still holds. The Malibu is one of the least expensive entry points into pressurized personal aviation. Luxury comes with complexity. None of this comes for free. The Malibu is not a simple airplane to own or operate. Pressurization systems, turbocharging, environmental controls, and high-performance avionics all add complexity. Maintenance standards are higher. Training expectations are higher. Operating discipline matters more. Insurance companies know this, and they price policies accordingly. Owners who approach the Malibu casually tend to be humbled quickly. Owners who respect the aircraft and invest in proper training tend to become fiercely loyal. This is not an airplane you buy because it's cheap. It's an airplane you buy because it replaces something more expensive. For many owners, the Malibu eliminates the need for a twin or delays the jump to a turbine. In that context, its economics make sense. Who the Malibu is actually for. The Piper Malibu isn't trying to be everything to everyone. It's designed for pilots who value capability, comfort, and range over simplicity. It rewards planning, discipline, and respect for systems. It's for the owner pilot who wants to fly serious missions without hiring a crew. It's for families and professionals who want their passengers to arrive comfortable, not depleted. And it's for pilots who understand that altitude is a tool, one that must be managed carefully. If you want a low-stress weekend flyer, the Malibu is probably the wrong airplane. If you want an aircraft that quietly gives you access to an entirely different layer of the sky, it makes a compelling case why the Malibu still matters. The Piper Malibu occupies a rare niche. It's not the fastest, it's not the cheapest, it's not the simplest, but it does something very few airplanes can do. It brings pressurized, cabin class, flying within reach of piston ownership. That's why it continues to attract attention decades after its introduction. That's why pilots still debate it passionately, and that's why the $800,000 pressurized luxury airplane headline refuses to die, because once you've flown high, smooth, quiet, and comfortable in a single-engine piston aircraft, once you've tasted what the Malibu offers, it's hard to look at ordinary piston flying the same way again. If you want, I can now convert this into a YouTube narration script, tighten it for retention, or add a cinematic opening and ending while keeping every fact intact. And that's the real story behind the Piper Malibu. It isn't about hype or headlines. It's about what happens when piston aviation quietly crosses into jet territory without jet money. If you found this video useful and want more deep dives like this into aircraft, technology, and hidden systems of aviation, like and subscribe so you don't miss the next one.